in. So today I'm going to be focusing again on the teachings of the Gunas because you've been asking really good questions and it's such an important concept in yoga. One of the questions that I was asked is, what is the reference for the Gunas? You can start by reading in the Bhagavad Gita in chapter 7, the Gunas are introduced. And it's hard to read the Gita by yourself if you don't have a guide or a good translation. So it's really helpful. What translation of the Gita do you read? What is the commentary in the translation? And then that you have a place to talk about it. And I know it would be helpful to have a Bhagavad Gita study group, so we have to put that together still. Right now my antennae are occupied by the studio transition, so we'll come back around to that. So the Gunas are elements of nature, strands of nature, and there are said to be 3 gunas, and the first one is tamas. Tamas means that which is most stable, that which is most grounded. It's kind of like the container for your routine or the structure of your life. The physical body has a tamasic component in that it's this stuff that's dense. It's got this container. So that's its tamasic element. And then rajas is that which is energized, it's mobile, it's motivated, it has movement to it. And this energy can either become like dissipated horizontally like this, reaching for any desire, clinging, grasping, wanting what we want, also not wanting what we don't want, and going into resistance and reaction. Or rajas can be the movement that goes upwards through the chakras, essentially, the movement and motivation for awakening, for not being so bound to clinging and aversion, desire and resistance. In the physical body, that rajas is the energy it takes to motivate, to move your body, to show up here, for example. So you've already got this established. And then sattva is the quality of clarity, of lucidity, the experience of remembering your interconnectedness with all that is, and a sense of the immersion in that which is lucid, that which is clear. So that sattvic place in us is what we might think of as consciousness, right? Tamas is that which is stable, inert. Here's your physical body. Most of you have 8 fingers and 2 thumbs. So tamas is not an element that produces a lot of change. We're not going to have 6 fingers and 3 thumbs. We have what we have. This structure is not all that changeable, and it can be our home base for some stability, and it has rhythms that when we respect those rhythms, we are stabilized, like rhythms for sleep, rhythms for food, rhythms for digestion, rhythms for movement. The rajas in your body is also that which digests your food, digests your life experiences, and can help transform those things into knowledge. And rajas is that which is trying to keep you warm enough. It circulates your blood, it manages your body temperature, it has a certain biochemical response. So when you're stressed, your rajas biochemistry goes hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, it rushes up. And that is a hard place to practice awareness from, because you go to a short-term fight or flight, threat, danger brain, and that's not a place that we can really practice or make decisions from. But we need the rajas that motivates us to be on our yoga mat. And then sattva here is how you are able to have attention and keep it clear, undistorted, receptive, compassionate, kind, like this. So if we were going to equate this with the nervous system, this is a question that I also had. The tamas quality is when we go to a dorsal vagal neurological response called dorsal vagal parasympathetic. It's a social withdrawal and disengagement nervous system. It's a kind of wrapping in and retreating nervous system. We share that nervous system with primitive reptilian creatures on the planet. They have a social withdrawal capacity when they feel threatened. Rajas is like our fight or flight nervous system, sympathetic dominance. This is when the gunas are out of balance. So when rajas goes out of balance, we go fight or flight, and we share that nervous system, that fight or flight activation nervous system. We share that with other mammals on the planet. Dogs and cats are good examples. And then sattva is when we're in our ventral vagal parasympathetic nervous system. And dogs and cats don't have that. Reptilians don't have that. This is a design in the species that we have. And it's kind of our imperative to make better use of it. That we don't have to live from social withdrawal and disengagement. We don't have to live from fight or flight. We could live from the heart, from ventral vagal parasympathetic nervous system. That's the sattvic state. So that being said, I'm overlapping neuroscience and the gunas right now, so I hope it's somewhat clear and somewhat helpful. And let's explore it in class. We'll do it in real time in the practice. Now, just before we sit, let me clarify that when I say practicing yoga, I mean including things like asana, but also self-study. How do we practice svadhyaya? How do we actually learn from our experiences and not just keep repeating them? Whether we're repeating beneficial experiences and then we have the times where we go to the gutter with the unbeneficial experience, or whether we're having mostly non-beneficial experiences, how do we not simply repeat, but live in a fresh relationship to what's happening? This is called svadhyaya. So let's take a seat, please, together. Thank you. I can see that most of our sign-ins are complete, and we will settle in for our practice. Thank you, Cricket, for your note. So much to study and learn. Yeah. Okay, so please rest your hands in your lap. Let your eyes close. And so to put this into your physical body, let's place one hand on the low belly. And just let your breath come down into the low belly to the best of your ability. So this hand is just below your belly button. And the other hand can go at the belly button and just above. So what I sometimes call the mid to upper belly. And when you're breathing in here, you're making contact with the dorsal vagal nerve pathway. It innervates your gut. When you're breathing in here, you are nourishing yourself not to get what we call stuck in or frozen in a dorsal vagal response to life, which is a response, again, of withdrawal or becoming more apathetic or resigned. So you breathe in here. From you to you, you can create this inner relationship of being safe enough in the present moment to welcome the breath and to nourish the organs responsible for your vitality. Now place one hand on the solar plexus and the back of the other hand around the back of your diaphragm. And you connect into this region, which you can include the solar plexus, your diaphragm, also your lungs and your heart. This is where your sympathetic activation takes fight or flight. And as you breathe now from the lower belly to your mid belly, breathe into this region, recognizing that in this moment you are safe enough, not needing fight against your life or yourself or others, and not right now needing to take flight. You have an opportunity to come back home. When you breathe into these regions of your body, you're basically, from your wise mind, sending a message down to these neurological reflexes. Now place one hand on your heart and one hand on the side of your face. This is where your empathy networks are. I mean, they're in your brain, but you can sense them at the side of the face. Your eyes, your ears, and your heart. And so now when you breathe, go from the lower third, middle third, upper third towards your heart. And here you are eliciting the ventral vagal nervous system to be nourished by your breath, by your attention. And know that your face, your senses, and your heart, they are wired together by this vagus nerve pathway. We communicate with our hearts, our voices, our eyes. We hear communication with our ears. We process this through our senses. It's rapid fire. And when our life has had a dorsal vagal or sympathetic dominance, we often misinterpret. We come back to ventral vagal, hoping for clear interpretations, clear perceptions. Let's bring the hands together at your heart, please. And may our practices help us to understand the inner workings of our neurological pathways. And may this practice that we share together remind us of the benefit of community, compassion, companionship, courage, collaboration. And may the parts of us that have needed that dorsal vagal withdrawal or the fight flight, they felt like they needed that, may those parts also see us practicing inwardly and feel safe enough to kind of come back home. So we'll chant Sahana Vavatu together, and then we'll begin our physical practice with pranayama. You may sing with me. Sahana Vavatu, Sahanao Bhunaktu, Saviryang Karavavai, Tejasvinavaditamastu, Ma Vidvishavai. Sahana Vavatu, Sahanao Bhunaktu, Saviryang Karavavai, Tejasvinavaditamastu, Ma Vidvishavai. Sahana Vavatu, Sahanao Bhunaktu, Saviryang Karavavai, Tejasvinavaditamastu, Ma Vidvishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. So when you next exhale, you may bow your head to your heart and release your hands. Please open your eyes. If you have any questions about what I'm discussing, you're always welcome to ask me. A chat is an easy way to do it, so is a follow-up email, which is completely welcome. I'm not responding to email that well, but I can respond verbally in class to your questions from email. So now we're going to practice some pranayama to activate these regions of the brain and the body. So these neurological fibers are going from your gut up to your brain, from your brain back to your gut. So when you take a seat, and I'm going to back up just a little bit, I'd like you to have a tripod seat. So if you're sitting in a chair or on a physio ball, which is what I'm doing. I'm on a physio ball. If you're sitting on the floor, sitting cross-legged, I want you to have space in front of you to bow forward. Okay. If you're sitting on a chair, you may need something to bow forward to touch that surface. Okay. Sit up tall through the spine. And start with a deep breath, a deep breath into the lower belly and the pelvic basin. And then exhale from your deep low belly as if you were squeezing the tube of toothpaste gently, gently to the end of the squeeze. And then a smooth inhale, raise your arms up overhead. And exhale from the deep low belly, sweep your arms wide, but concentrate on the tone of the low belly going inwards and upwards. Begin your next inhale, palms face up, raise your arms overhead. Exhale your hands to your heart, tone your low belly from your pubic bone upwards to your navel. Inhale, raise both arms up, bring the breath from the low, middle to upper. Exhale, sweep your arms out to the side, using the low belly for the tone of the exhale as you lower your arms. Let's repeat that. Ujjayi, inhale. Ujjayi, exhale, hands to your heart. The exhale is still in the low belly, though the energy moves upwards towards your heart from there. Inhale from your low belly, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale from your low belly as you sweep the arms wide. Now we're going to add that forward bend that I was referencing. Inhale, raise your arms. Exhale, hands to your heart and bow forward. Walk your hands out in front of you. Take a deep breath into the back of your waist. Exhale, walk back up to center using the strength of your belly to come upright. Inhale, raise your arms up, low belly, mid-torso, upper back and heart. Exhale, arms wide. Again, same thing. So inhale, sweep your arms wide, and think of the breath as touching those neurological centers. As you rise up to the heart, then exhale, hands to your heart, tone your low belly. And then walking forward, reach forward. With your inhale, broaden the back of your waist. So you're down there at the dorsal vagal region of the body. And then exhale, tone your low belly and bring your torso upright. A little bit like a windsock filling up. And then inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, sweep your arms wide. Okay, last time. Inhale, low belly, mid belly, reach up into your heart. Exhale, hands to your heart, tone your low belly. Reaching forward. As you inhale into the back of your waist, think of those dorsal fibers. And exhale, draw your low belly in, return to your heart with your hands. Inhale, reach upwards. And exhale, press outwards. Now please twist to your right. Cross your left hand to your right knee. And you're going to notice that it's harder to have the breath go from the low third to the middle to the upper, but it's possible. And you guys have enough practice as yogis that I feel that you can do it. So you're breathing in first third, middle third includes the back of the diaphragm, and then upper third, the back of your heart, the inner heart. When you exhale, tone within your low belly. And bring a little bit of strength there, a rhythmic sense of strength. Inhale smoothly. And exhale to tone the low belly while returning hands to your heart. Come to facing forward. And then twist to your left. So cross your right hand to your left knee. Left hand behind you, raise up through your spine. And do your best to bring the breath from the lower third. Middle, include the back of your waist. Let the breath undulate up into your heart. Exhale from your low belly and look for a sense of rhythmic strength to the low belly. So your exhale is slow but steady and consistent. And then inhale, and that rhythm has its own cadence, rising upwards towards your heart. And then exhale, return to center. Rest your hands out over your knees, palms face down. And notice the quality of your mind over the next several moments. And from this quality of mind, how might you respond to the part of you that sometimes needs that dorsal vagal withdrawal, the shutdown withdrawal reflex? How might you respond from here? And to the part of you that has felt it needs the fight or flight, from this quality of mind, how would you respond to that part of you? And if either of those responses included like a hint of empathy or compassion, then according to the ventral vagal nervous system, you're going in the right direction. It's described as the neurological pathway for compassion and benevolence and generosity and empathy, collaboration and courage. So now please come up to table pose to your hands and knees. I'm going to take myself back to my mat where you can see me on the floor. Where am I going? Oh, is it turned on? Oh, there we go. Okay. I have to find myself, you guys. That's what you're here for too, right? That was a yoga joke. Okay. All right. So when you come to table pose, place your hands so that they are shoulder width apart. And your knees can have a blanket if you prefer. So hands shoulder width. Let's inhale to cat pose. We're going to stay here for several breath cycles. So when you come into cat pose, root your tailbone strongly down. And while you're in this cat pose, I'd like you to notice that it's a pose of protection to the vulnerable animal part of your body. That is the organ part of the body. So when the cat goes up in its back like that, like a Halloween cat, it's looking for protection. We're using cat pose to broaden the back of the waist. We use it to stretch the body, but also take notice that in your cat pose, the inner organs would feel protected. But let this be a yoga practice, reminding yourself that all postures are a chance for exploration. And this one happens to mimic a way that the mammal community would protect its organs. When you next exhale, reach backwards to child's pose while keeping your cat pose strong. And then inhale, roll forward to cat pose. And exhale, roll backwards to child's pose. And just try to sense this rhythm between inhale and exhale while you keep your spine in flexion. Inhale to cat. Exhale to child's pose. Rhythm is one of the most important things for us to become regulated towards our homeostasis. So when you inhale to roll to cat, think of the rhythm with which you're moving your breath and your body together. When you exhale back to child's pose, also consider the rhythm. We'll do this 3 times more on these 3 ones. As you inhale forward to cat pose, come a little bit more forward than you normally do and broaden your upper back right where your neck meets your shoulder blades. And exhale back to child's pose. Complete the exhale with your low belly for strength, inner strength. Inhale, roll up to cat and go slightly more forward so you're broadening at the upper shoulder blades. And exhale, roll back to child's pose, synchronizing for the purpose of rhythm. Once more, inhale, roll forward to cat and come slightly more forward and stay here for the exhale. Now I'm going to ask you to watch the transition from within as you go from this sequence. And now inhale your heart forward, your gaze forward, open your throat, come to cow pose. And exhale, reach back to child's pose while still gazing forward. And then release your head at the end of that reaching back. Now inhale, undulate through cat on your way to cow. And exhale, reach your hips back. So you stay in cow pose until you get to the end of child's pose. Then bow your head. Inhale, undulate, roll forward on your way to cow pose. And exhale your cow pose spine backwards to child's pose, releasing your head only at the end. Here's the last one. Inhale, undulate forward. And exhale, reach back while you still gaze forward, heart forward, throat forward, eyes forward. And then release your head. And now come forward to table pose and then onto your belly. And come into what's called Sphinx pose, please. So you can be on your forearms like this. And in this Sphinx pose, the belly is touching the floor. So that dorsal vagal region actually has some protection, some preservation is what we actually refer to it as. Protection and preservation. Protection for the purpose of preservation. Press your elbows down, press your palms down. Energize your legs so the tops of your feet, the tops of your thighs, tops of your kneecaps are pressing down. And then breathe from your low belly into your mid back and up to your heart. Exhale, tone the deep low belly. Raise up through the crown of your skull. And then inhale, press your palms down, slowly straighten your arms, open your throat, lift your gaze. Exhale, lower slowly down to Sphinx pose while toning your low belly. Inhale, roll up. So you're lifting your elbows, mid back, upper back, heart, throat, gaze. And exhale, lower your elbows, tone your deep low belly. 3 times more. Rising up with your inhale. Exhale. Inhale, Ujjayi inhale. Here's the last one. Inhale to go up. Come to your fingertips if you can. And then exhale, roll down your palms, your forearms, your elbows. Place your hands beneath your shoulders. Press up to plank pose. Use your low belly for strength. And then reach backwards to downward facing dog pose. And notice in downward dog pose that the animal part of the body, that is the front belly where the organs are, it's actually a little bit protected here. Not as protected as cat pose. Doesn't feel as protected as in Sphinx pose. But there is a downward forward energy to this pose. You cannot initiate your inhale from your chest here, so you have to use the diaphragm to breathe. And the breath, when it goes down into your low belly, can once again communicate to you that at this moment you are safe enough to be here. And that your breath and your body matter. Now walk your hands back. Let's do this with straight elbows. Walk your hands backwards, small steps, slowly towards Uttanasana. So you have to exercise the upper back when you're walking backwards like that. And when you come to your Uttanasana, it's okay to bend your knees. In fact, I'm going to recommend that for anybody whose hamstrings need you to bend your knees. Allow your torso to come down over your thighs, where your belly touches your thighs. And when you inhale, make a cow pose, spine, excuse me. Bring your heart forward, open your throat, bring your gaze forward. That's your in-breath. And then exhale, enjoy a deep bow towards your legs and massage the inner belly with your exhale strength. Then inhale, glide forward with your cow pose spine. Open your heart and your throat, move your gaze forward. And then exhale to deeply bow towards your legs. Now once more, inhale to come forward like a cow pose spine. And then exhale, bend your knees for chair pose. So put your body weight into your heels and your toes. Go ahead and bend the knees so your chest and thighs are touching. Raise your arms up alongside your ears. And then lift the torso up on a gentle angle, maybe 45 degrees or so to the floor. So this pose combines all three regions. You have this breath in the deep low belly, the back of your waist, and then up into your heart. In the organ center, the animal body is protected. The pose has strength, but you're also doing a pose that includes reaching outwards. The reach part of our neurological system is called ventral vagal, when we reach for engagement or collaboration. When you next inhale, push down to rise up and reach upwards. And then exhale, sweep your arms wide. At the end of that circle of the arms, come to Anjali Mudra. I noticed that we raised your heart rate a little bit on purpose. So that's not a fight or flight heart rate. That was a Rajas heart rate to give you some energy, some alertness, some aliveness. Now we're going to add twisting to this chair pose. So step to the front of your mat, please, for Surya Namaskar. And here we go. Inhale the hands down, wide, and up. When you reach up, think of reaching as one of the things that our species has to do. And then exhale, sit down to your chair pose. Now bring your left arm down and inhale, twist to your right. Exhale, return to chair pose. Notice the reach of your arms, the tone of your belly. Inhale, right arm down, twist to your left. And exhale, return to chair pose, acknowledging the reach of the arms. Inhale, rise up, reach to the sky. Nice job. And exhale, arms wide. You're coming back to Anjali Mudra. Okay, let's repeat that. We're going to add to the sequence also. So inhale, raise both arms. Go first third, middle third, upper third, look up. Exhale, chair pose. Inhale, left arm down, twist right. Exhale, release to Uttanasana. Inhale, bend your knees, twist to your left. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, push down to rise up. Now inhale to open the upper region of your heart, shoulders, throat, eyes. And exhale back to the heart. Again, inhale, reaching up. When you exhale, bend your knees, chair pose. So the abdominal region is protected. The upper region of your body is reaching. Inhale, twist to your right. And then we exhale, Uttanasana, the deep low belly in a protected place. Tone for strength. Inhale, bend your knees, twist left. Notice the effort of reaching. Exhale, Uttanasana. Go to the inner place of protection and strength. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, push down to rise up. Notice the reach that goes upwards. And then inhale to open like the sky of your mind. And exhale, hands to your heart. And here comes the full Surya Namaskar. We're going to add to that. So inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. When you exhale, sit down to chair pose, remembering that tone in the low belly. I'm equating that with inner strength right now. Then inhale, twist to your left. Twist to your right. My left, your right. Exhale, Uttanasana. Take the time to fully tone your low belly towards the end of your exhale. Inhale, twist left, your left, my right. And exhale into the Uttanasana. For those who would like, you can put your forearms behind your calves. And inhale, look forward like a cow pose. Spine, heart forward, throat open, eyes forward. Exhale, left toes back. Okay, now gaze back at your left toes and reach back towards your left foot with both hands. So this is an inward flexion position for your spine. Now, inhale, root down through your tailbone, rise up to your crescent lunge. Acknowledge the effort to reach. Exhale, rotate warrior two. In warrior two, gaze over your right fingers and line up your right inner thigh through here to your right knee, to your third toe. And as you reach back with your left arm, imagine that is the past. You reach forward with your right arm, imagining that as the future, but you are standing in the present. Notice how your breath can move from the first third to the middle third to the upper third of the torso with your inhale. And how you tone the low belly with your exhale. One more inhale. And then exhale and windmill your right arm down, pivot your left heel up. And inhale, step forward, bring your heart forward. And exhale, deep Uttanasana. So notice the tone that you can make, especially towards the end of your exhale breath. Inhale, glide your heart forward. With your exhale, step your right toes back and gaze back at your right toes. Reach your hands and arms back. So you're in flexion. Then root down to rise up. Inhale up to extension. It's called spinal extension. And then exhale to warrior two. Turn your back heel to the floor slowly. Find your place. Gaze out over your left fingertips, only to steady your eyes, not to grasp for the future. Reach your right arm back, not clinging to the past, but recognizing that you're here in the present moment. This is a pose that you have experience with, you have some stamina for. So while you're here, listen for how you're breathing, first third, middle third, upper third. We aren't just exercising muscles and bones. We aren't just breathing either. There's a whole subtle body process going on and also a neurological process. And one more inhale. Notice the quality of reaching in this pose. And when you exhale, windmill your left arm down, right arm down. As you touch the floor, pivot your right heel up and step backwards, downward facing dog pose. And today we'll go without the blocks because we're going to be using cobra pose. So let's inhale, roll forward to plank while gazing at your toes. And then exhale, just gaze down between your thumbs. Now inhale to your tiptoes, bend your elbows, come down to chaturanga. And then exhale onto your stomach, point your toes, energize your legs. Let's inhale, roll up, cobra pose, bhujangasana. Open your throat, lift your gaze. Exhale, roll down, pranam. Bow your forehead. Inhale, roll up, energize your legs, your tailbone, your triceps, your shoulders. Exhale to roll down. Tone your low belly, bring your eyes inward, turn your throat inward. Inhale, roll up. Notice that you open the heart, your throat, and your gaze. And exhale to roll down, slowly, slowly, gazing inward at the end. Last one. Curl your toes under. Find the strength of your belly, please, and inhale up to plank pose. And then exhale, reach backwards, downward facing dog pose. And take 3 steady breath cycles, listening for the sound of your ujjayi breath. Your vagus nerve pathway responds to sight and sound, voice tone, breath, rhythm, reciprocity. At the end of your next exhale, step your awkward foot forward first, then step your other foot forward, and come into Uttanasana. Energize your legs, and let's inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, come down to your heart. And then come into mountain pose, where you can just stand at ease for a few moments. Bring your mental focus down into your pelvis, the pelvic basin, and also the abdomen. The dorsal vagal pathway innervates these organs in your gut. So from the wisest part of your mind, you can say to the gut and these organs, at this moment you are safe enough to be here. Your body and your breath are welcome here. You are welcome here. Now include the mid-torso, solar plexus, back of the diaphragm. Reminding your fight or flight brain that right now, in this moment, you're safe enough, not needing the reflex of fight or flight. And then bring awareness up into your heart and your face, the middle ear, your eyes, your throat, your voice. Reminding yourself, your voice is welcome here, your insight, your vision, what you're hearing, how we're hearing each other matters, your voice tone, your words, your heart. I'm going to ask you now to come down to take a seat on a couple of blankets. So I made these blankets. I didn't make these blankets. I folded these blankets before class. So these are 2 long blankets like this. And I'm going to ask you to sit on the blanket so that your right hip is on the blanket and your feet are to the side like this. This is called Bharadvajasana in Sanskrit. So the right hip is right here supported on the blankets. And take one block to make your arm longer when we go back to the twist. Okay, so both knees, and if sitting with the knees this bent is not possible for you, I would recommend making this taller, what you're sitting on, so less bend for the knees, or sit in a chair to the edge of the chair with your feet back and your knees forward. What happens is the pelvis is going to have just a slight difference, and the side stretch and twist is what we're going for. So let's take the right hand back behind. Use a block if your arm needs the extra length, as mine does. Left hand to your right thigh. And twist to your right. Now, as you're twisting to your right, your left hand can put a little pressure against the outside of your right thigh. Your right hand can press down against that block. And your hip can press down into your blanket. So there's a structure, an infrastructure for you, like a bony structure. And then let the breath have permission to explore. So pelvic basin, mid-back, upper back and heart. If your body's feeling warmed into it enough, you can take your right hand over the backside of the blanket or walk your right hand further back on the chair that you're sitting on. So one more time, breathing in. Notice the structure of the pose. That's what stabilizes it so that the work of the inner body can be done. And then exhale and bring yourself around to face forward. Pause to notice the zigzag in your body. Now take the back of your left hand around the outside of your right thigh. When you do that, reach it across. If you have long fingers, your fingers might reach the floor and they might stay there. I don't have long fingers, so they're just barely touching. I don't have a long arm. I guess I have long fingers for my height, but if this doesn't quite reach, you might have just your fingertips there, or you might have your knuckles all the way to the floor. Okay, side bend to your left. You could hold your left wrist with your right hand, which is what I'm doing for the moment. And notice this side bend influencing right lower back, right sideways. You could turn to look down if that's easier for your neck. Can you wrap your right arm around the small of your back? Let's all choose to gaze down for now, so you can have this stretch as you roll your right shoulder slightly back in this side bend. Invite the right side of your neck and your right lower belly, even the right inner belly, to receive the stretch and to receive the breath. Listen for the rhythm of your inhale and your exhale. And with an exhale, release your right arm and roll yourself up to vertical. Bring your head up to center. And let's just spend a few moments noticing. You might feel kind of wavy, like a zigzag. Now sit in the center of your blanket. Bend your knees, place your feet on the floor like this. Okay. Let's do the feet hip distance apart. There's a blanket roll behind you. Reach your arms forward. I hope you've made a long enough blanket roll. We're going to exhale and roll down. So while you're rolling down and you're gazing forward, that's your exhale, and then roll back up. And keep your balance, please, on your blanket. And then exhale, roll down. Let's go 1/3 the way. And inhale, reach to roll up. Exhale, roll back 1/3 of the way. Inhale, reach forward to roll up. Take your arms up. Exhale, roll back 1/3 of the way. Inhale, reach forward and then up. And exhale, roll back 1/3 of the way. Last one, inhale, reach forward and up. And then exhale, roll slowly all the way down. You've already test driven that once, so we're going to roll down vertebrae by vertebrae. Go slowly. And then, keeping your knees bent, feet flat on the floor, take your arms overhead. Hopefully we'll not run into the wall, which I'm about to do. And notice what the breath does in response to those contractions, those roll downs. So arms overhead, breathe in. And breathe out. One more time, breathe in. Then raise your arms up towards the ceiling and exhale to roll 1/3 of the way up. Inhale, roll back down, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, arms up, roll 1/3 of the way up. Inhale, roll to open, arms overhead. And exhale, arms up, roll 1/3 of the way up. And inhale to roll down, arms overhead. Last one, exhale, roll 1/3 of the way up. And then inhale, reach up, rise up to sitting. Okay, you made it. Now let's put the feet to the other side. So what you're going to do is put your left hip on the blankets and the feet go back. I used to think of this like you're having your photo taken, that kind of pose. So again, if you're using a chair, of course you sit to the edge of the chair, the feet can go back behind you. What we're going to want is this twist and then this side bend. Okay, so with your block, take your left hand back behind you, cross your right hand to your left thigh, and rotate to your left. So your right arm is part of your structure, part of the infrastructure of the pose. Left arm, part of the structure. Press down into both, and then root into your left hip. Now, of course, your spine is a part of the structure too, but I'm pointing to these like external structures, these 3 points. Right arm, and left hip, excuse me. And concentrate on the breath. You are massaging this vagal nerve pathway. You inhale into this low region of the body, and then to your mid-back, and then into the upper back and the heart. When you exhale, concentrate on toning the deep low belly, rhythmically, not with any sense of coercion. If you'd like to, you can take your left hand to the back side of your blanket. Let's do 3 more breath cycles, please. And then when you complete your 3rd breath cycle, you're exhaling, please come around to face forward. And then you're going to take the back of your right hand around the outside of your left thigh. And go ahead and hold it there for a few moments. So you're going to give it this extra support. Please side bend to your right. Go ahead and gaze down. And let the breath come into your low pelvis, into the pelvic basin, the organs in the abdomen. No sense of pressure right now. As you enjoy the side bend and you become capable of breathing a little bit more here, then wrap your left arm around the small of your back and include your mid-back and side waist in the inhale, still beginning in the low part of your pelvis. Roll your left shoulder back. And see if the breath can find its way up into your heart, which you have to make a deliberate effort for. That effort is called rajas, the effort to rise from the pelvis upwards through the chakras really, but also up to the heart, the organ of the heart, and up to your left collarbone. And then let's use an exhale to release this pose, rise up. You might again feel a little bit like a zigzag when you come up. Okay, this time I'm going to put my blankets on the profile view. I'm having laughing at my word finding right there. So you're going to sit on the blankets this time so that your hips are on the blankets, and we're going to lie down. So, and this, if you can't see, you might want to watch before you do lie down. So you're going to be down with the knees to the chest. Okay, and it's helpful to check that you've got room overhead for both arms to go. Okay, so this is one of your positions for this next sequence. So give yourself a little check that you can do that. And then I'll wait for a few of you to get settled. When we move the arms, let's think of, we'll be inhaling the first third of the movement, first third of the breath. Inhaling second third of the movement, second third of the breath. Inhaling upper third of the movement and the upper third of the breath. And the exhale will take the arms down, but the exhale is coming from the low belly still. Okay. So let's try that. Use your Ujjayi breath, please. Inhale smoothly, first, middle, and upper breath at your own pace. A tiny pause at the top. And then exhale smoothly. Bring your arms down as if the arms are passing the river of the exhale, which goes from your pelvis towards your nose. Right? Inhale, raise your arms. They are passing the river of the inhale, which goes through your nose down into your lower body. And then exhale, raise your arms. Exhale goes from the deep belly out through your nose. Inhale, raise your arms. And exhale, lower your arms. Just imagining these pathways are crossing each other. So the river of the breath and the movement of the arms, they pass each other. Let's do it once more. And then exhale, arms up as they return. You're exhaling from the low part of your belly out through your nose. Now we're going to start including the legs. Okay, so inhale, raise just your arms overhead. And then as you exhale, float your knees up as your arms return. So you're adding flexion to your low belly, and the knees are assisting the exhale to be more complete. Then inhale, arms overhead and toes back to the floor. And exhale, raise your knees, lower your arms. You're helping the exhale to be more complete. Give yourself a little pause at the end of the exhale. Inhale, open with your breath as the conductor of the rhythm of your body. Little pause at the top of the inhale, and then exhale again. Okay, twice more. Last one. Finish with the exhale as a knees to chest position. Place your hands behind your hamstrings. And then please touch your feet down to the floor. Now, my hope is that you've got some space behind you on your yoga mat. And then if you do this little inchworm thing on your back, you're able to come down to where the blanket ends at the top of your shoulder blades and your neck is not touching the blanket. And your head, I hope, comfortably goes back to the floor. Okay, like this. Okay, so what you can do is place the arms almost like you're doing bridge pose, but your shoulders can't reach the ground because of your position with your blankets. But let's do palms face down and do your best to roll the shoulders gently back towards the floor. Bring your lumbar spine down, and while keeping your upper back on the blanket, lift up to bridge pose. Tuck your shoulder blades under. So the blanket is right there supporting you at the top of your thoracic spine, the bottom of your cervical spine. Use your shoulders, please. The back of the neck might have gotten a little bit longer. Since you have your head on the floor, you could have the chin come towards your throat. Raise the chest and the heart up by using the strength of your arms, right? Even though the shoulders aren't quite touching the floor, press your shoulders down to support the lift of your shoulder blades into your heart. And then start rolling your spine down from this supported bridge pose, this variation on bridge pose. When you get to the bottom of the roll down, let your torso relax, and you might notice that when you release the low belly, the throat very gently opens. For the low belly and the throat to release at the same time, we know that the gut-brain axis is getting more opportunity there to be open, to be fluid, to be relaxed. So let's try this again. Press into your heels and toes, press down through your palms, roll your hips up to bridge pose, tuck the shoulder blades under the heart. Your chin can come down towards your throat. The back of your neck can be long. So for a few moments here, the throat is actually more closed, not more open. But you have to use the upper back, the back of your shoulder blades, the back of your shoulders to help keep your heart lifted. Notice the strength that's needed there for the courage. We could say the courage of the heart. And then roll your spine down. You're going to meet up with your blanket. Let's go one vertebrae at a time. Notice that naturally the throat begins to open. At the bottom of your roll down, release your belly and your throat. And let's take this energy towards Shavasana because I want to have time for your pranayama. This is what I'm going to recommend. Roll to your right take one of these blankets to be for Pratyahara. I'm going to do this, put this one here. The other blanket, it's going to go on the front body. I know this looks a little bit weird. Please watch. You take this blanket on the front of the spine like this, up to the heart. So like a little sense of protection. If you're a female and you've had an x-ray, it's a little bit like what they give you to put over the pelvis. Right? Having been through my major surgeries, I have those x-rays. Now we take this one over the eyes and over the ears. It's called Pratyahara, to let the senses get quiet. Take your palms and open them towards the sky. Or if your nervous system requests it, place your palms face down. If you aren't sure which one to do, start with palms down. And take your senses inward. So the eyes have this gentle covering. That means it's darker for them. But also the gentle weight of the blanket on the eyes can help to slow down the movement of the eyes. Let your ears go inwards. Relax your tongue. Invite all five senses to be relaxed and inward. Release your body more and more completely. Observe how your senses can retreat for the purpose of renewal. Allow your body to get heavier with relaxation. And for your senses to go inward for renewal. Let everything continue to become more deeply relaxed, your mind more quiet or still. Let yourself get very heavy with relaxation. Just a few moments more. Any part of the body that has yet to let go, you might invite with a gentle, compassionate voice tone. Invite your senses to stay inward for the purpose of renewal. And for your mind to be really still, like equanimity. And then aware of yourself in the present moment, and aware that the Pratyahara blanket does make things a little bit darker and quieter. I'd like you to reach up with both hands and gently press your blanket backwards off of your head. Do that slowly. And simply rest in awareness of that transition for your senses. And then the blanket you've had over the torso, you can also acknowledge its presence there. And reach up to slowly put that blanket aside. And notice the absence of the blanket, but the inner sense of your body remembering the blanket. And please bend your knees to transition to your right side. Bring your knees towards your chest like the fetal position. You can rest a few moments right there. And then please come up and take a seat for a couple minutes of pranayama and then a closing meditation. In this pranayama, we'll be using Nadi Shodhana. We did this practice yesterday, so I'll just reference that. You're going to inhale through both nostrils, counting the length of the breath. We'll exhale left nostril only. We'll inhale both nostrils. And you'll exhale right nostril only. And our intention in closing the nostril is to make the exhale longer than the inhale. So when you can close one nostril completely, like the right one, for example, and close the other nostril part way. So you're making a smaller exit pathway for the breath. You'll have to use the low belly, the tone of the low belly, for the exhale across here, gently and consistently. Okay, so let's try it together, and then we'll go to silence to keep practicing. And so no using ujjayi, we're just inhaling. So inhale, lower, middle, upper as one continuous breath. Notice about how long that was. And then you're going to close the right nostril with your right thumb, close the left nostril part way, and exhale left nostril only. Notice the kind of tone that is needed as you get towards the end of the exhale. And that tone should be in the belly. It's not the chest pulling down. It is the belly pulling in. Then inhale through both nostrils. Lightly count the length of your inhale. And bring your right hand up, close the left nostril, close the right one part way, and exhale right side. When you complete the exhale, release your right hand and then continue. Inhale through both nostrils and exhale left, and then inhale both and exhale right. When you complete your next exhale through the right nostril, then rest both hands in your lap. And from the most wise part of your mind, the most clear-sighted version of yourself, and with your most open heart, bring into awareness the times in life, even if it's one memory, even if it's 2 or 3, times in life where you felt you had to go to the dorsal vagal reflex, the social withdrawal, numb out, zone out reflex. And just notice from your heart, from your clear sight, from your wise mind, how do you now respond to the part of you that felt that was a necessary way to recharge or to retreat? You can include in your awareness that the human species has this reflex, and to anyone in your life, or even people you don't know, it's bringing into awareness that people go to this dorsal vagal shutdown reflex. Notice how your heart, your clear sight, your wise mind respond, even non-verbally, even without words. And to all those beings everywhere, and to the part of you, the parts of them, may there be enough safety, enough sense that our bodies are welcome here, our breath is welcome here. And from your clear sight and your wise mind, your heart, bring into awareness now the reflex you have for fight or flight, kind of how that shows up in your life. Fighting to get stuff done, fighting to sort of quote unquote get ahead, or actually arguing with or being conflicted about, or dissociating, disconnecting, flight, like running away from. Notice how this upper region, this ventral region, responds to the part of you that has had to use fight or flight. And bringing into awareness how this is a part of the species, and you can consider all other beings who also have this part that has had to take fight and flight to survive. And notice how this upper region, this ventral region, responds when you bring those beings into your awareness. And again, you might say, may all beings everywhere have enough safety, enough sense that their body and their breath, their minds, their words, that these things matter. They belong here in the family of humanity. And since fight and flight and freeze and submit are hardwired to inform us about when we don't feel safe, may we, from this ventral view, be able to learn about responding on behalf of the greater good. And please bring your hands together at your heart. And you may sing with me. Singing is good for your vagal tone and for your vagus nerve. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta Shantu. May all beings everywhere have enough safety, enough ease. May all beings everywhere be included in our regard for each other, in our desire to uphold each other's dignity and worth. May everyone everywhere be protected from unnecessary harm. May the suffering lessen. May the collaboration increase. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste. I will come up to visit with you in a moment here. I do hope you're feeling renewed. Yeah. There was a lot of methodology in this particular class. So those of you who are in teacher training, you have a class worth reviewing the methodology about neurobiology, neuroscience, the gunas, all of these things. Don't do your evaluation right now. Just rest. Just bask. I will sit with you. How are you feeling?